Once upon a time, in a village forgotten in the echoes of time, there lived an old man. He was like you or me. He was like any normal person, but he was lonely. So lonely that he sometimes felt like the only living being in this world. He didn't remember his family. They died when he was so young. He never had friends, a wife, and therefore no children. The old man was shunned by everyone. The children in the village were afraid of him. The man spat on him, and the woman looked down rather than look into his eyes. The old man lived in an old, lonely hut on the edge of the village, beyond which lay the deep forest, into which no one ever set foot. The old man worked as a gravedigger. The only ones who ever listened to him were already deceased. He often sat by the tombstones and spoke to them as if they could perhaps answer him. Sometimes he wept over them, not because he mourned their deaths. He wept only for his own loneliness. He wept for never knowing friendship, never feeling love. The old man only felt sorry for himself, for he had never known anyone else. Sometimes the old man would sing by the tombstones. He sang about everything he had been missing his whole life. Mostly, however, he only talked to the tombstones. He sat in the graveyard for hours, talking, so desperate for the tombstone to answer him. However, that was not possible. He couldn't talk to spirits after all. When the old man wasn't mourning his loneliness, he was venturing to the woods. The dark forest always reminded him of his very inside. Everyone avoided it as well. Only he could appreciate its beauty and majesty. It was to this forest that the old man went again this time. A soft summer rain fell on his tired old shoulders. The old man loved rain. He also loved the fresh air such gloomy weather brought with it. Everything played in perfect, dark harmony that gave the old man the feeling that he was entering a place where he belonged. The old man once again carried an old wicker basket that he had once found outside the door of his hut. He had a habit of taking some fruits and mushrooms from the forest. The old man's thinning grey hair slowly began to get wet in the rain. So did the old, dirty, tattered black coat he wore almost every day. The cold drops falling on his pale face reminded the old man of the cold touch of death, which he had always admired so much. The old man had never been afraid of death, especially as he had been surrounded by it all his life. However, he was afraid of one thing, that he would die alone, loved by no one, that he would die as someone who had never meant anything to anyone. And this idea seemed more and more real as the years went by. The old man walked slowly into the forest, listening to the singing of birds. the rustling of leaves, the whisper of the wind, and the raindrops falling on the ground. Although it was already summer, it was colder than usual, but the old man warmly welcomed the cold. He continued along the narrow forest path, listening to all the sounds that nature makes. He let the raindrops slowly run down his wrinkled, pale face as he entered deeper into the forest. For him, long walks through the forest are like entering another world, a world without people. No wonder, because of the superstitions of the villagers, everyone is afraid to enter the forest. Like the old man, this place is associated with death. It is said that ghosts and other dangerous creatures live here, which the common people are so afraid of. However, in addition to love, the old man also lacks a sense of fear. He has nothing to lose, so what would he worry about? For his life, which is already slowly coming to an end anyway, the only thing the old man was afraid of was the loneliness that had been eating away at him from the inside for so long. He continued through the dense, dark forest, listening to the song of nature, but he suddenly thought he heard something that perhaps resembled crying, sobbing. Someone is crying in the thicket of trees, but who in the village would dare to enter the forest except the old man? He couldn't resist it. He rummaged through thickest bushes and tall grass until he saw in the distance. He didn't really know what he saw. The figure seemed human in appearance, but hairy, like some kind of animal, with long, wavy horns. It was about 3 heads taller than the old man. Actually, it could be described as a devil. At least that's what the old man thought. Any other person would have immediately turned and run away screaming, but the only lonely old man with nothing to lose decided to approach the sobbing devil instead. You, what are you? The old man asked as he slowly approached the creature. However, the devil continued to cry, as if he did not even notice the old man. Until the old man decided to reach out to him. The devil raised his head and stared at the old man's soul with his yellow eyes. "Don't touch!" The devil snapped, still looking the old man straight in the eyes. The old man stopped and bowed respectfully. "I'm sorry, you're a devil?" The hellbender looked down at the ground and sighed. "Devil, devil, Satan, demon. They call me all kinds of things. I don't know what I am to you." The old man sat opposite the devil while still looking at him. "I've never seen anyone like you." The devil sighed, then looked at the old man. "That's because I'm the only one here. They rejected me. I'm lonely. So very, very lonely." The old man suddenly understood why the devil was so sad. "I'm lonely too. I always have been. I certainly don't know what it's like to be a devil, but I know loneliness very well." The old man looked up at the sky. "My only friends are the corpses I have buried." The devil looked at the old man with undisguised astonishment. "A man who The old man smiled. Although it felt unnatural to him, he managed to smile for perhaps the first time in his life. Well, not that I speak to them directly. Rather, I speak to tombstones that never answer me. The devil didn't understand him. I mean, sometimes you just need to pour your heart out when someone is as lonely as I am. They just start talking to rocks, the old man explained. The devil nodded at that. I often talk to animals. They don't judge, but they don't tell me much anyway. The old man's smile widened. Absolutely well said. But now you have someone new to talk to, and I'll be more than happy to listen to you. The devil looked in the old man's eyes again. Do you want to be my friend? These words brought tears to the old man's eyes. Friend. Concept he knew but had never experienced. He didn't know what true friendship was. What is true love? And he wanted so badly to experience that feeling. The old man began to cry, but those were not tears of sadness. He was happy for the first time in his life. Why do you cry? The devil asked, confused. The old man looked into his yellow eyes and nodded with a smile. Those are tears of joy. I'd love to be your friend. The devil didn't know what to say. He stared at the old man for a moment before he could find any words. Friend, I'm a monster. People are afraid of me. They run away from me. I've never been touched in my whole life. I'd like to know what it's like to feel strangers' touch, but I can't. I can't. For the one who touches me dies. The devil sobbed again, but then perhaps smiled. You're different. How can such a good soul have no friends? The old man smiled back at the devil. I guess friendship isn't meant for everyone. At least I thought so until now. But now I know that everyone has a kindred spirit waiting for them. For some, it's an innkeeper. For some, it's a lover. For me, it's the devil. And devil, you're not a monster. Just the world is so messed up that it didn't give you a chance. Everyone is afraid of what's on the outside and can't see that on the inside you're just a fragile being who just wants a little love in life. Just like me. They both started crying. Later, the crying stopped. The two engaged in a long conversation that lasted perhaps the whole afternoon. They talked about life, about their dreams, about their ideals, about their deepest desires, but also about the wounds that life dealt them both. The light rain had already stopped falling and the sun came out. The old man looked at the devil and smiled slightly. You said you wanted to know what it was like to touch someone, didn't you? The devil nodded his head. Yes. Unfortunately, anyone who touches me will die. The old man closed his eyes for a moment and thought deeply. He then leaned closer to the devil. Well, today is your lucky day. He spread his arms, about to embrace the devil. The devil backed away. He wanted to dodge, stop the old man. No, you'll die if you do. The old man smiled with a tear in his eye. Devil, the only thing I wanted to know before I die was friendship. And that's what I got now. I'm old. I'll be gone soon anyway. I want to make at least one soul truly happy before I die. And then the old man hugged the devil. Devil, thank you for being my friend. Farewell. And with these words, the life in the old man's eyes faded away. The now lifeless old man had his hands still wrapped around the devil, who stared into nothingness for a moment without saying a word, before finally saying goodbye to the old man. Goodbye, my friend. Thank you. And so, the old man died in the arms of the only friend he ever had. And he died truly happy.